I've been thinking about the bottom line, and I'm ambivalent about it. I wanted to say I was deeply ambivalent about it, but that sounded a little pretentious. Besides, it's the bottom line. By definition, it's deep. I recognize the concept of the bottom line, and I admire the people who adhere to it. I don't think you need to go to business school to understand the bottom line. If you respect the bottom line, chances are excellent you will be solvent, meaning you have earned more than you have spent. In this country, individuals by the millions, and collectively in the form of our government, we have chosen to not exactly ignore the bottom line. We know it's there, but we disregard it. We discredit it. We discount it. I think some of us think it's negotiable or even imaginary, that it can be adjusted to suit our purposes. And our purposes are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. No mistake about that. We've got it in writing somewhere. So party on, dudes and dudettes. Can't let any old thing like a bottom line get in the way of that. Right now, we are living so far below the bottom line that we know we can never get back to it. Our nation is one that wanted to be the best. We aimed for the top. And because of laziness and greed, we wound up buried far below the bottom. We're so far below the bottom that we can't even look up and see it. A word about that greed. The movie where the sleek Wall Street guy says greed is good because it drives the economy. It's the heart of capitalism. Fine. That sounds good. If greed is the desire to have things and you do what it takes to get those things, fine. But if you do nothing and still expect to have those things, that greed drives the economy all right, into the ground, below the bottom line. Greed is disastrous. Greed is the satisfaction of desire without performance. Greed is consumption on credit. The bottom line has come to have a symbolic meaning and value, as when we will say, well, the bottom line is this. And what we mean is the essential and irreducible part of anything, or the result, the final outcome. There may be many peripheral concerns, and they may all have some worth, but that core must always be considered first and foremost, protected and preserved. That's the bottom line. And the bottom line is more than a number. It's a directive, a way to achieve that number, the actions you must take. There are many possible disadvantages that can come from a strict adherence to the bottom line. One of the first compromises we make typically is in the quality of our products or our work. As a result, so much of what we have is cheap crap, fake imitations, empty calories. We accept this because it serves the bottom line. And things that are well made become non-competitive, too expensive, and disappear from the market. The bottom line can be tricky, too. We can define success as being ahead on the bottom line, but that success may not be an entirely good thing. Success can blind you to problems which, unaddressed, can sink you below the bottom line, at which point they can be more difficult to correct, and you have less time and resources to solve them. The Titanic comes to mind. It can even be more catastrophic. If you are a large energy company, your bottom line is find oil, get oil. We know what can result from that. There are other ways in which the bottom line works to corrupt a society. The drug industry and pornography have very powerful bottom lines. Despite objections and laws, and even some attempts at law enforcement, those businesses are tremendously profitable, so much so they persist and even flourish when other socially sanctioned endeavors are failing. In some economies, they are the most obvious and best options available. The bottom line in professional sports is to win, or to play impressively, rack up the individual statistics and honors. According to the bottom line, it makes perfect sense for athletes to take performance-enhancing drugs, because enhanced performance is the very creed of the bottom line. We are purging sports of the cheaters and the juicers, but boy, we sure did approve of what they were doing before we knew how they were getting it done. The bottom line is such a quantifiable and proven standard and measure of performance that we often come to accept it as the truth, to which we willingly direct all our energies and faith. But the bottom line, when it comes to the bottom line, may be that it's not a fixed line after all. It may be a projection, a desire, a goal, the infamous carrot, the dreaded stick, and it may be, bottom line, a place fraught with danger and more trouble than it's worth. Besides all of that, I'm rather sick of hearing about the bottom line. People are always pontificating about the bottom line. That, and at the end of the day. I've heard both so much, I can almost picture the intersection of the bottom line and at the end of the day.